Angatri, Common Era, 1597. A fleet of ominous white sails unfurls on the horizon. Behind them, 10 dragons cast their formidable shadows over the waters below, signaling the start of an invasion that will determine the fate of the Aokabuto Shogunate. In the next few hours, rains of fire will descend upon the port of Kenwara, igniting the flames of a conflict that will echo through the annals of history. The First Yume War. By the waning decades of the shogunate period, Akasora had become, more or less, split between 3 major powers. First was the Kanagawa shogunate, whose rise to prominence came after a series of swift and brutal conquests and held sway over the northern territories of the Kuna Islands. Their control over these lands was marked by a formidable army and a reputation for ruthless efficiency. To the south, on the Yokojima Islands, lay the Aokabuto shogunate. Unlike their northern counterparts, Aokabuto was an economic powerhouse. Its prosperity was buoyed by close ties with the Anyuan dynasty on the mainland and a booming market for gold and cotton. And finally, nestled in the heart of Akasora was the Yume Shogunate. Unlike the militaristic Kanagawa or the mercantile Aokabuto, the Yume Shogunate was a state forged not through war or trade, but through a series of shrewd political maneuvers, back-alley deals, and carefully orchestrated marriages. And well, of course, there were several minor shogunates, but that's a story for another time. As the door closed on the 16th century, tensions between the 3 powers grew. Kanagawa had become suspicious of the Yume shogunate's growing influence. Aokabuto just wanted to be left alone, and Yume, well, let's just say they didn't really like anyone else. By the 1580s, Yume had come under the rule of Shogun Arai Moromune. Now, he was called many things. However, unambitious was not one of them. For one, he wanted to reunite Akasora under a single banner, his own. To achieve this, he knew the shogunate's regular games would not fly with the other 2 powers. Moromune needed something more, an overwhelming show of force that would obliterate any doubts about Yume's dominance. And so, he set his sights on the Aokabuto shogunate. They were the weakest link, he believed. Their military was based on hired mercenaries and relied mainly on their investors and allies for support, and their wealth would provide the resources needed to fuel his ambitious plans. A quick and decisive victory, preferably in one fell swoop, would not only consolidate Yume's power, but also send a clear message to Kanagawa and any other potential challengers. However, there was just one small problem: the Yume army. It was, to put it mildly, quote, as unimpressive as a fishing boat, as useless as a paper umbrella in a rainstorm. And it was true. While the Yume shogunate's military would have been nothing to scoff at a century ago, it was now a mismatch of underfunded regiments with ill-trained conscripts, poor tactics, and outdated weaponry. But Moromune, ever the optimist, was not one to be deterred by minor setbacks, and thus began the Yume military reformation. First, he overhauled the training regimen and recruited veteran soldiers from allied shogunates and prefectures to help with it, and donated much of his personal wealth to the military, encouraging others to do the same as well. Simultaneously, Moromune invested heavily in upgrading Yume's armaments. Runestones and communication technology were imported from foreign states, notably Trenia and Honmia, while shipyards sprang up all along the coast of the Yume shogunate. By the mid-1590s, an estimated 200 newly constructed warships formed the backbone of the Yume naval fleet. However, the crown jewel of this armada was a fleet of 4 colossal dragon carriers that could carry around 15 dragons each, which in total constituted about 30% of the shogunate's air force. And with that, the reformation project was complete. The only thing left to do now was to test it. So a date was set for the invasion, the 1st of Angatri, 1597. On that day, the newly reformed Yume fleet would set sail toward the Aokabuto shogunate. with one simple mission: subjugate Aokabuto and secure its wealth for the Yume Shogunate. Join us next time as the Yume Shogunate launches the invasion of Kenwara and conquer the Aokabuto mainland. But before then, I'll see you soon. May Kyrie be with you.